Welcome. Spiral, from the Book of Saw, was released in 2021 and was directed by Darren Lynn Bousman. It stars Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson. It is about Detective Zeke Banks and his rookie partner William Shank, and then following murders happening around their city, which all may seem to be connected to a potential Jigsaw copycat. So I've been so excited for this film to come out. I mean, you guys saw in the videos that were coming up, I kept on talking about it. I absolutely love the Saw series. I think it's great, although there's a lot of stinkers in there, which, I mean, there is a lot of terrible movies within this franchise. But I'm happy to say that Spiral isn't bad. Now, it isn't the best out of all of them, but it's fine. That's the best way I could describe this movie. It is just fine. I am content with what I saw. Of course, I was a little disappointed because as I watched it, I wanted there to be more happening and more of other stuff that we'll be talking about, but the movie was fine. So off the bat, in terms of pros, I love the concept behind this movie. How we follow Detective Zeke Banks and how we kind of discover stuff about his past with this Jigsaw copycat. Now, I wish that we could see more of it that wasn't in just flashback sequences, because a lot of the movie is flashback sequences, but that's Saw movies for you. They're always doing that. They're always gonna show us random flashbacks that you don't think are important, and it's like, oh, no way! Same thing in this movie. You have that flashback all the time. I just wish that there was more, we could see it happening and unfold instead of just, okay, this is why Zeke is sad. Boom. This is why. Okay, he's thinking about his past. Why is he upset? Boom. This is why. I wish there was more to it than just that. But going back to the concept of the movie, I really like it. I think that it was done decently well. The acting is fine. Chris Rock is pretty good. There's moments where his acting isn't the greatest, but I don't really think it's him. I think it's more of direction, which we'll talk about that with cons, but I think Chris Rock was fine. Samuel L. Jackson, he's fine. I wish there was more of him in the movie. And the rookie, William Shank, he's fine. The acting was pretty good overall. Where the movie falls flat for me is the direction. There needed to be more of the director being like, hey, Chris Rock, you should refilm that, and we should retry this scene because I think you were a little bit too happy. Your voice acting wasn't the absolute greatest that could be. We should try it again. There should have been more of that in this movie because it feels like a lot of either first takes or him just letting Chris Rock have complete freedom to do whatever he wanted. I think we needed him in the beginning, and by him I mean the director, to really set the tone and be like, okay, Chris Rock, I need you to be like this here. No, that wasn't good enough. We should do that again. We needed more of that. He didn't do that, and it caused a lot of scenes to be kind of corny. It caused Chris Rock to have kind of on and off in certain scenes where you're like, oh, he was acting very good there, to, ooh, that was kind of weird. The direction needed to be a lot better. In terms of other cons, the traps aren't the best. There's one specific trap that happens towards the end of the movie, probably the second to last trap that we see. Very good. Really liked it. Other than that, kind of boring. We've seen better traps, and I know this movie was more character-based than trap-based, but even if you're gonna do that, you need your traps to be good. I mean, look at the first movie and how the big trap is that bathroom. Excellent trap. Just great. You have the reverse bear trap. Great trap. We really don't have an iconic trap that would go with this movie, which is kind of unfortunate because I could at least name one trap in every movie that is iconic. This one doesn't have one. To move to a pro quickly though, the gore effects are done really well. I like all of the makeup, I like all of the special effects that we had. They never go too out there with them that you could tell that it's fake, kind of like Saw 4, where you could just tell it's CGI blood automatically. The effects are pretty good in this movie. They're not pretty good. They're really good. So that's one pro that you have, Spiral. Overall, though, I mean, it's a fine movie. I know I'm making it seem like I really didn't like it with the amount of cons that I had, but I did really enjoy watching it. I think there were a lot of great moments that I don't want to spoil or talk about because I don't want to spoil anything. Yeah, but I could talk about cons because they don't really spoil too many things. In terms of one last con, though, that I do have with this movie, the plot twist is very guessable. I guessed it automatically right away. And it sounded like, oh, I've watched all these movies before, so I know what's going to come. My friends who haven't watched the whole Saw series guessed it too. So it's not the most guessable plot twist. We didn't guess the little intricacies that went into it, but it is pretty guessable, the twist in the movie. So now I'm going to move over to Austin Michael, and he's going to talk about Spiral and say his thoughts. So, Austin Michael, you're up.
All right. Yeah, so hey, Austin Michael here. Overall, I thought I enjoyed it. I think there were a lot of flaws and plot holes. I think one of my biggest complaints with it was it didn't really feel like a Saw movie to me. It just felt more like a detective movie with some crazy kills in it. And even the kills, like, I don't think they were that great, to be honest. Some of them were more creative than others, especially I think the last one, or the last two, were pretty cool. But the other issue with the traps was it just didn't feel like there was enough time for the people to actually get out of them. Like, it was like the tape stops playing and then they have like 20 seconds and it just, it didn't feel like they had enough time, which was one of my main problems. Other than that, though, I mean, I did enjoy the movie. I think Chris Rock actually did a good job in it. I was concerned going in because it wasn't a comedy, and I was worried I would have trouble seeing Chris Rock in a serious role, but I think he did a good job. At times, his character, I feel like through the whole thing, his character was just like overly aggressive and there wasn't much depth to his character. But overall, again, I think he did a good job. And the other complaint I had was it was just really obvious who the killer was the whole time. So overall, I did enjoy the movie, but there were definitely some big problems with it. So overall, I would say a 6 out of 10. That's what I'll give it. All right, see you guys.
Thank you, Austin Michael, for being in this video as you can. I think I'm going to do a spoiler review with Austin Michael in about a week. So if that doesn't come out, then we didn't do it. But if it does, I hope you enjoy it. And on to our last guest for this episode. And we just need to give a moment because this is going to be a new kind of thing that'll be intertwined within Saw reviews. And it's going to be called Thoughts with Julia. And basically, we're going to have Julia talk about her thoughts on the specific Saw movie that we are talking about because it's her all-time favorite series, her favorite movie is the original Saw. So, Julia, let's hear your thoughts on Spiral from the Book of Saw.
So, we're reviewing the new movie in the Saw franchise, which I have some mixed reviews, but overall it was enjoyable. I'll give it that much. Kept me interested, the acting was pretty good, the plot was pretty cool. The main issue that I had revolved around the deaths. I think that they were done kind of poorly. They were trying too hard when they were showing the death scenes and like the traps and stuff. Like they were trying to emulate what we think of when we think Saw, and I think that they just took it too far and it became a little too tacky. I think that the actual contraptions themselves were kind of stupid and they didn't do them very well. It It didn't hit the mark for me. It seemed like they were trying too hard, especially throughout the entire movie. It just felt very forced. It was kind of unnecessary. But as someone who enjoys the franchise, I think that it was a cute little moment, but definitely like a forgettable movie, but still good. So I would recommend, if you want to see an interesting movie, like, go see it. I think it's worth it. Go on Tuesdays when it's like $5-6, because it was not worth the 14 something that I paid for it. But yes, overall I give it like a 7.2 out of 10. The end.
And thank you, Julia, for saying what you thought about the movie. I know we usually agree on everything, so I'm glad that we basically agreed with each other. So overall, I give this movie a 6 out of 10. And I do recommend it if you watch the Saw series. I think you'll appreciate it. I think that there's a lot to love with this movie, and it's not bad. It is fine. There's nothing else to really say. It's just a fine movie. You're not going to go home, talking it up, but you're not going to be like, oh, I hated that movie. It was terrible. It was fine. Yeah. So thank you everyone for watching this review, and be on the lookout for more reviews in the future. The next review on the channel is going to be Cult of Chucky, so be on the lookout for that. But let's flash forward to the next review.